Hello, and welcome to my walks with a camera. I'm looking for spring, and the best place to find spring? This is the Foals Track. If you followed my videos, you'll know this is an area where I've come many times. It's one of my favorite places to go for a stroll in the woods. But it's also an area that deals with the seasons rather interesting. And I've been here spring, summer, fall, and winter, and I can always find something different, something interesting, something rather new. And that's one of the things about Mother Nature. Even if you go to areas that you frequent many times, you can always find something new. Here's something new. Trilliums are starting to grow all over the forest floor. But these trilliums are interesting because they're yellow. And I have not seen that type of trillium. I've seen white, red, purple. Not yellow. That is kind of cool. I hope they are trilliums. I gotta be honest with you. I don't know my flowers very well, but boy, do they look interesting. Kind of like the way they reflect the light in areas of shadow. The mosses are kind of cool too. Trees that are down various stages of rotting. And this, start of spring. Buds are in bloom. Leaves are starting to come out. So yeah, this is a good place to look for spring. There's a pond over here. It's one of my favorite places to shoot. I've photographed it many times. And it's interesting because it's full of spring and runoff from snow and rain, and we've had a lot of rain. Throughout the year, the water will recede, either evaporate or be absorbed into the ground. But it makes for some interesting photographs. The reflections, the leaves that go over it, the way they shade from the light. Go have a look and see what it's like. Yeah, that's interesting. Ooh, there's some other things that are interesting. There's fungus, probably grown from last year. Dark brown. Patterns, color, texture. That's interesting. That makes for an interesting photograph. There's no tree canopy over this pond, and that's when it's really interesting, I find. But with the bright sunlight, this reflection in the water of the sky and the trees, That's it. That's an interesting composition. Let's see what we can get. I think I'm going to shoot that as a bit of a panorama. Put the lens at 35 mil. That's cool. There's various ways to shoot panoramas. Mostly I would advise you to do it on a tripod, but sometimes you don't, and I don't have a tripod with me, so I had to shoot it handheld. And what you're doing is a series of overlapping photographs, and then you'll stitch them together in whatever developer software that you happen to be using. I use Lightroom Classic, which does a good job. Let's see. There's a log out there with some interesting moss right over there. See what we can get. Oh yeah. That should look cool. And just in this area here, and it's a small area, it's not very big, I can see 3 or 4 compositions for photographs that look rather interesting. And that's the thing. You have to keep your eye open to various compositions and what you can see. Because as I've said in other videos, it's your eye and your brain that takes the photograph. It composes the photograph, composes the image. It's what you see and how you've developed your eye and your brain to do that. The camera is just a tool. It's all it is. Whether it's your camera or your cell phone or anything you happen to be using. I happen to be shooting with a Z8, high-end Nikon product. But any camera you do, whether it's entry level or whatever, you can always find those interesting compositions. And those are the things you have to look for. And here, the way the logs here fall, and some have fallen into the river or into the pond, and what you look for, this area here. Yes, it looks kind of kludgy and messy, but that makes it interesting. That has an abstract feel and quality. And you should never, never dismiss that. You know, photographers like clean images, but sometimes it's that kludginess that just pops out and makes it interesting. And what you should look for, and not be afraid to look for. And that is spring. That is the world we see as photographers. And as I said, this pond, that's really leaping out at me. Those springtime images, the moss, the water, the reflections. Tells you it's alive. And spring is a time when things are alive, because things are growing. This is really cool. Very, very cool. Let's go see what else we can find. Here's something. This tree, now clearly it's been here for a long time because this one here, it has this log lying across it, which is cut from that stump there. But look at the texture, look at the color, the lines. A real sense of abstract that just leaps out. And a lot of people would ignore that. But I don't. Now, that's my opinion. That's how I view it. But that doesn't mean how you should view it. It's what you see. I don't have to talk about my settings, but I'm shooting at f11. And I suppose that f8 would be just as good. But I just have it at f11 because, well, that's what I started out the day with. But be prepared to play around and experiment. Ooh, what do we have here? Wow. That's something that's left over from the fall or from last year. F11, 1/250th, 50 mil. The folding, the texture. There's a kludginess there, but again, it's an abstract view. Nothing wrong with abstracts when you look at them in nature. And it's kind of interesting because we have last year's images of fungus, new funguses breaking through. Yeah, that is rather cool. Very, very cool. Yep, it's spring. It is definitely spring. Spring is a time of renewal. It's a time of new growth. You can see it breaking through and reaching up to the sun. And today is a very sunny day. Of course, it's coming into the lunch hour. More of these yellow flowers. If anybody knows what those flowers are, please tell me. Like, I think they're trilliums, but I could be wrong. In fact, probably am. As I said, I don't know my flowers. It's a good day for a walk in the woods. Quiet. A little bit of traffic on the road over there. Not much. Biggest thing I've noticed is people out on their motorcycles. If they're out on their motorcycles, you know it's spring. And a day like this, if you got a ride, well, it's a perfect time to go for one. If you don't have a motorcycle, you just want to get in your car and go for a spin, do it. Because days like this shouldn't be wasted inside the house. With the harsh light, and there's no leaves diffusing it, you get this real contrast between light and shadow. That's just beautiful. It's just perfect. Makes for black and white images. This is an image that I've shot many times, but you just barely see spring breaking through. This area down here, the shadows, the woods and the trees, and the beginning of green just starting to spring up. That's just beautiful. Away the path draws your eye in a line through the woods. Oh, that's nice. That is very nice. Winter, when I've shot this scene, it's been pretty stark. But that's winter. That's the difference between the dark and the snow, white snow on the ground, giving that really contrasty feel. And else I've noticed about today being spring, there's this slight perfumey scent in the air of everything coming alive. Yeah, it's a good day. It's a very good day. Where you live, there's all kinds of conservation areas like this. Go explore them, go for a walk, even if it's just your own park in the area. A day like this, you shouldn't be wasting. Low-lying ground, there's these little ponds, and yeah, nice day. Some areas of the pond, there's a little bit of scummy look to it, but not bad. Not bad at all. The light hitting the pond and the water. You see these shadows. Reflections, a really contrasty look. Neat reflections. That's pretty cool. That is very cool. In the area where you live, it's probably woodlands much like this. Oh, this branch caught on my foot. Where you live, there's probably conservation areas or woods like this that you can go and walk in. This is a foals track, by the way. Just peaceful and quiet. Place where you can rest your soul. As Marcus Aurelius said, stillness is the key. And the woods is still. And the woods is quiet. You should go check out that stillness. Look around and see what you can find. Just close your mind to the ratcheta that goes on in the world. And right now there's a lot of ratcheta in the world. Ancient Chinese curse. May you be forced to live in interesting times. And in woods like this, you can leave it all behind. And Marcus Aurelius was right. Stillness is the key. So check out your own woods and your own quiet areas. Enjoy the stillness and enjoy spring and watch the new life coming alive. Until next time.